I'm going to start off a little bit different today. Good morning. I hope everybody's having a good morning. We'll hit the safety meeting in just a couple of minutes. Um, so I've been working on a song all morning. I had some other projects and stuff, so I've been doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I'm going to play the same song and I'm going to play it twice. I'm going to give you two different versions of the song, and I want you guys to help me decide which one to go with. Okay. Um, are you ready? I hope so. I hope you're ready. Okay. Um, Title of the song is One More Pair of Eyes. If I can get my screen to work. There we go. One more eyes. Okay. I had to change it a little bit because it's uh, when you put the lyrics into. So I put all my lyrics over here. Okay. And what happens sometimes is when the AI is reading them, it kind of it goes a little bit wonky. Okay. Uh, so instead of saying lead, it says lead, as in the metal lead. So I had to make some changes and everything. So I was trying to get this done before the podcast today, but it didn't work. So take a listen. I want you guys to tell me what you think. I'm going to play both versions of the song, and then you guys help me decide which one we're going to use to promote this. Okay. Now, there's a particular reason that I'm doing this. Okay. I put this up yesterday over on the Facebook side here. Okay. It says, I want to be clear. If I am sharing any alerts, I first check for truth and accuracy and to find out if the child has already been recovered before I share. But understand, under no circumstances will I stop. And that means stop posting. Okay. I'm going to keep sharing every missing child's report that comes across my screen. I'm going to share it. Okay. But the first thing that I do is I check to make sure that the child has not been already recovered. Okay. So, and I'm going to use this as an example for you guys so you guys can understand. Okay. But let me finish this. Eradicating this child and human trafficking from the planet completely should be something every person around the world agrees with. Let's start by mass sharing ones that we know are verified. You never know, something you share could lead to a rescue. Okay. Now, I got a couple of comments here. Okay. And I want to explain the comments. Okay. So I put it out. Leanne Holtorf. I hope I pronounced that name wrong. I hope I did not butcher that. She said, praying you find her. Well, I'm not the one out searching for her. All I'm doing is trying to direct resources, okay, to have more eyes and more ears looking for these kids. Okay. Then Mariana Fisk, she responded with, is she missing again? So what I wanted to point out was, so this 15-year-old girl is not the same girl. Okay. This girl over here, her name is Ariana Perez. Okay. And it's spelled Kyle. This one here is Ky uh, uh, LLE, or is it LLE or Kylie? So this is pronounced Kyle Perez. Okay. So people, they when they type in the name Perez under missing children, okay, the other girl comes up. This girl didn't. Okay. And I just wanted to point this out. They are not the same girl. This is not the same girl. Okay. This is Kylie Perez. This is Ariana Perez. Okay. And, so I shared it because I knew that was not the same person, you know, But the idea of it is they did not list a recovery report for the Kylie, but they did list one for Ariana, okay, who was a 17-year-old girl who ran away. There's a comparison there, okay? So this song was inspired by the conversation that I was having with Marianne and what I posted, okay? So here we go. One more pair of eyes. I have not heard this yet. I have not heard either of these versions yet. Okay, so you guys are going to be in the production seat with me as to whether we like it or not.
I ain't wearing a badge tonight, ain't riding with the blue lights on. Just another ordinary soul trying to help somebody get back home. See a picture cross my screen, a face I've never known. But somebody somewhere's missing them, and somebody's waiting by the phone. So be one more pair of eyes, one more heart that cares, one more voice that says we ain't giving up out here. You never know, see that face, never know what truth survives. Sometimes all it takes is one more pair of eyes. A truck stop down in Tennessee, a diner out in Idaho. A woman sees a picture shared and suddenly she knows. A number called, a tip comes in, a lead nobody saw. And hope starts walking through the door where fear had ruled before. Be one more pair of eyes, one more heart that cares, one more voice that says we ain't giving up out here. You never know, see that face, you never know what truth survives. Sometimes all it takes is one more pair of eyes. Most heroes never make the news, never stand beneath the lights. They're just good people doing what they can to help make something right. One share, one prayer, one phone call, one lead can change a family's world. Be one more pair of eyes, one more light against the dark, one more person willing to carry a little spark. Until every child comes home, until every family finds the answer they were praying for, will be one more pair of eyes. So if a picture crosses your screen, don't assume somebody else will try, because somewhere tonight a child may be waiting for one more pair of eyes.
All right, now let's listen to the second version. Now, both of them were based off Powerful Country Americana Ballad, okay, is how I did it. 78 beats per minute. I didn't want it like dragging, like really super slow, but I wanted it slow enough that everybody could understand the lyric. I told them what type of voice that I wanted, and I wanted, and you'll see here how I put all the information in there. Storytelling, grit, compassion, and quiet strength, okay? At the same time, telling it what type of instruments to use, so on and so forth. And then, focusing on those, the individual characters, like the truck driver, the lady at the diner, everything all the way down the line. So this is the second version. It plays.
I ain't wearing a badge tonight. An ordinary soul trying to help somebody get back home. See a picture cross my screen, a face I've never known. But somebody somewhere is missing them, and somebody's waiting by the phone. So be one more pair of eyes, one more heart that cares, one more voice that says we ain't giving up out here. You never know who'll see that face. You never know what truth survives. Sometimes all it takes is one more pair of eyes. A truck stop down in Tennessee, a diner out in Idaho. A woman sees a picture shared, and suddenly she knows. A number called, a tip comes in, a lead nobody saw. And hope starts walking through the door, where fear had ruled before. Be one more pair of eyes, one more heart to care.
Actually, to be honest with you, I don't even need to listen to the full second one. I already know that the first one is it. I already know. It's I heard it. It was, you know, the reason being is what, you like the second one better? Oh, see, now you're gonna make life difficult for me. Now we gotta listen to the rest of the song.
One more voice that says we ain't giving up out here. You never know who'll see that face. You never know what truth survives. Sometimes one more pair of eyes. Most heroes never make the news. Never stand beneath the lights. They're just good people doing what they can do.
You know, but that's the reason that you know, it's cool to have other people listen to it. See, with this version here, I think some of the lines are being rushed. That's, you know, and it was, you know, it's I don't want the message rushed. I want it to be fully understandable, but at the same time, something that, you know, like if people were sitting around and this came on, you know, like if this came on MTV or something like that kind of thing, okay, would it be something that somebody would say is kind of catchy and would they kind of want to sing along to? You know, because they appreciate the message, you know. But yeah, so yeah, it's gonna make my life difficult with this. You are. You're gonna make my life difficult. I maybe shouldn't even have said anything. Okay, give me a second here. I'm gonna download both versions of it, and maybe I might be able to do something with that second version where I can fix it up. And get something better out of it. But yeah, so that's where I've been at today. You know, this is the thing is there's a lot of times that there are things that I can't say just through regular spoken conversation. Some of them I have to put it to music because it involves getting people involved. Okay. And what I mean by that is when there's a musical tone added to things, you tend to pay more attention. It's like frequency and understanding frequency and what it's, you know, understanding the different frequencies that we're exposed to regularly. Okay, whether it be through our phones or through sounds coming out of businesses, things like that. Everything is frequency, right? So a lot of times when you add music to that frequency, it alters what you're seeing. You begin to see it in a different light. You begin to understand the message in a different way. And my objective is just to inspire people to, if you see, because Q told us, if you see something, say something, right? If you see something, say something. That's how we keep everybody safe. If you see something, say something. Okay. But when it comes to the recovery of children, so many people just don't know. They don't understand. And I want to give it to them in a way that says, oh, yeah, so when I see these missing child reports, I should share them. Okay, this is a lot different than the kid on the milk carton. Okay, because we know what the milk cartons were really about. We know that the children that were on those milk cartons were being sold. Okay, but when it's a recovery organization that is legitimate and is actually succeeding at recovering children and the children being returned home, that is another, that's another story. So the objective is to find the right organizations and then do everything that you can to help promote their messages and get the children that they're looking for seen. And that's my goal. That's my goal. All right. But good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good Friday morning. I'm going to be with you, I hope, for a couple of hours. I'm trying to get water here right now, and I think I'm going to have to call a water delivery service because I had enough water to fill up the dog's water containment things today, but I am completely out after that. So I've got to get water trucked in as quickly as possible. So I may have to step away to make some phone calls in order to get this facilitated and keep my head squared because everything I do for these dogs. I could give a crap less if I got water for myself. It's for the animals. Well, I mean, other than clean myself up, other than that, I only use water for my coffee, and washing my hair. That's pretty much it. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into the gist of what is the world today. It's kind of crazy, but I want to start off with this one right here.
After months of searching through intelligence community holdings and files, today I'm releasing new evidence of longstanding U.S. government funding of more than 120 biolabs in over 30 countries. Now, these biolabs include labs in places like Ukraine, which could be at risk of compromise due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. In fact, the intelligence community had previously warned that a U.S.-funded biolab in Ukraine likely housed dangerous pathogens and remained vulnerable to longstanding threats of Russian attack, seizure, or damage. Now, until now, evidence regarding the full existence and funding of these laboratories had been knowingly withheld from you, the American people. Many of these U.S. government-funded biolabs are currently or have previously engaged in research using hazardous and highly contagious pathogens, and in some cases included dangerous gain-of-function research with very little visibility or oversight. Now, President Trump clearly understands the serious threat dangerous gain-of-function research poses to the American people. And this is why he took decisive action over a year ago. On May 25th, 2025, he signed an executive order to end federal funding of gain-of-function research around the world. Here at ODNI, I issued new guidance to the intelligence community directing increased collection on these laboratories and facilities overseas.
But weren't we told that we don't have no labs over there? Weren't we told that? We don't have any biolabs anywhere. None. We don't have any anywhere. That's what they said, right? Newland, isn't it? Victoria Newland is the one who said that there wasn't any in Ukraine. And then look what happened. We found out that there was over 30 of them.
And we're already seeing the results of this increased collection. We're learning new details, for example, on clinical trials that are underway at these facilities and that are raising significant ethical, financial, and security concerns regarding the supposed public health initiatives and U.S. national security. Now, despite the obvious potential for catastrophic global impact that research on dangerous pathogens in biolabs can have, politicians and so-called health professionals like Dr. Fauci, as well as entities within the Biden administration's national security team, lied repeatedly to the American people about the existence of U.S.-funded and supported biolabs. Not only did they lie, they threatened those who attempted to expose the truth. So this release today breaks new ground, as the information surrounding the existence, history, locations, and funding of these U.S.-funded biolabs has been intentionally covered up by very powerful people who falsely claimed that these biolabs didn't exist. Now, they accuse anyone who says otherwise to be foreign assets and traitors to America. Now, Odie and I will continue working closely with partners across the U.S. government to identify exactly where these labs are and what pathogens they contain to end dangerous gain-of-function research that threatens the health and well-being of the American people and people around the world.
Okay, so this brings to mind a comment that somebody put in the chat yesterday that I never ended up getting to, and that was in regards to the anthrax scare at the Pentagon. Okay. And let me see if I don't think Grok keeps record of your chats. But I'm going to find out right now. Grok, do you keep record of previous conversations with users?
Hey, I'm Ara. What can I help you with today?
Do you keep record of previous conversations with users?
Yes, I keep records of our previous conversations so I can stay in context and help you better. What else would you like to know?
I asked yesterday in regards to the level 4 anthrax scare at the Pentagon. Can you give me an update on that, please?
It was a false alarm yesterday caused by a malfunctioning sensor that detected possible anthrax. They locked down parts of the building, ordered shelter in place, and brought in hazmat teams. But follow-up testing confirmed no hazard at all. Normal operations resumed within hours, and there was no threat to anyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else I can help you with?
No, that was it for today. Thank you. Okay, so it was so as soon as I saw that, I was like, I looked into what I'm not sure who it was that posted it. I think it was over on Rumble. I'm not positive though. But the thing was that the information that first came out was and was put out by the news organizations said that it was a level 4. Now, level 3 anthrax is deadly, but it takes a while. Whereas the level 4 that they were talking about, and this is what I found was really suspicious, because they were calling it a level 4 anthrax scare, is associated directly with Ebola and Marburg. Yeah. It's Hope Dealer Grok is actually pretty good. It basically it filters through everything that's been posted on Grok in regards to the Department of War, the Pentagon, the White House, and Capitol Hill. So that's the only reason that I use Grok for this. I would have gone to Chat GPT and said, "Do you have any links to articles referencing this?" Yeah, yeah. But it's the thing is when they're constantly putting out these kind of quote unquote scares. Okay, that's exactly what it's meant to do, is to keep the American people constantly in fear, because, you think about it, let's see here. Let me. So today's splash here is who benefits when Americans stop trusting each other? Okay. And that is a question that we do need to ask. And we need to ask this question regularly. Okay. So as these people are pulling their shenanigans, against us, who's benefiting from it? That's where we need to really start looking, is who's benefiting from the hate that they're creating. Okay. Who's benefiting from the division? And yeah. Yeah. So a federal judge has refused a leftist legal attempt to block the UFC Freedom 250 at the White House this weekend. The fight will go on. These liberal lawyers really need to find something better to do than attempt to pathetically stifle literally anything 47 does. Yep, that's the truth. Thank you, Nick, for that. All right, let's get back over here. So, but that was the reason I wanted to bring that up, because guess who handles level 4 anthrax? Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and 3 different laboratories in Ukraine. So that's where that came to mind for me, and it was yeah. So, but this is Stand for Britain. Put this up. Let's take a listen.
Feisty Irish women.
We're not thriving. The country is dying. It's dying. There's no fun, no laughter, no happiness, no community anymore. Let's not pretend. It's all stress. It's all silence. Whispering at kitchen tables. Whispering in corners. Afraid to say anything in case you're silenced and mocked and slandered and verbally abused. Well, come and find me, because you know me, and you won't silence me. Do not let me silence me. Please, stand up for each other, not for politics. 1916, and I mention it because of the history of our country, because of the slavery, the poverty. There's men and women here my age and older than me. Don't pretend we had money. We didn't have money. We only got money in the last 25 fucking years. And what have you done with it?
Wonders.
The government squandered 1.9 trillion in taxes. 1.9 trillion. Where is it gone? And your younger generations, please, I spoke to some of you yesterday. Please, you grew up with more than what I had. But don't think that can't vanish. Because right now, you do not have what I had when I was your age. I had freedom.
That's Yeah. I had freedom. Unless you got home after the streetlights came on. Yeah. All right. MJ Truth Elder says, what a lying sack of shit. Carmelo Anthony's father pushes a huge lie on national television. A jury for my son was an all-white jury. These are the facts. There were 6 minorities total on the full 18-person panel, 12 jurors and 6 alternates. The jury that decided his son's fate included Asian, Hispanic, Middle Eastern, Indian jurors. There were also 3 qualified black prospective jurors who were struck during selection because they expressed difficulty with convicting a young black man, even if he was guilty. And Carmelo even requested the jury sentence him instead of the judge. The fact that his father is playing this card is sad, and this is the exact kind of piss-poor parenting that results in what happened. So let's take a listen.
Take us inside that courtroom. What stuck out to you?
What stuck out to me, number one, was the all-white jury. But I was trying to be, like, all right, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the truth is on our side.
Take us inside that courtroom. What stuck out to you?
What stuck out to me, number one, was the all-white jury. But I was trying to be, like, all right, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, the truth is on our side.
You're as big a liar as your kid is. You're as big a liar as your kid is a murderer. Just saying. Facts. Facts. All right. Eric Daughtry says, just in, the Trump DOJ is formally moving to strike down Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger's law that makes it illegal for ICE to wear face masks. Here we go.
Anti-ICE policies. The lawsuit centers around 2 new laws. The first would make it illegal for federal agents to wear a face mask, a mask covering their face, we should say. Agents in violation of that law could face up to 12 months in jail. The second law sets state-mandated conditions on federal immigration enforcement. The acting AG, Todd Blanche, writing this: Virginia's anti-law enforcement policies regulate the federal government and are designed to create risk for our agents. Shannon Bream, Fox News Sunday anchor, chief legal correspondent. Shannon, good day to you.
You too, Bill.
Good morning.
Good morning, Shannon.
Here is the governor, the new governor, Spanberger, in the Commonwealth. Watch here.
On the first day in office, I repealed and pulled back from what had been my predecessor's Executive Order 47, which mandated the work of Virginia state law enforcement agencies with ICE.
That was February. Now it's June. What changed?
Well, and the fact that these, as you talked about, Bill, these measures that would go into effect in July could be jail time for federal agents who have some kind of covering over their face or don't comply with what's going on here. The acting attorney general, who hopes to be the attorney general, Todd Blanche, saying this is in conflict with everything we want for our federal agents. They risk their lives every day and they don't want to be doxxed or harassed or their families threatened. So he's saying, listen, supremacy clause, which says, fed law trumps state law when it's in conflict. We're going to protect law enforcement officers. A lot of what Governor Spanberger has done in the last, few months has been in conflict with what she told us during campaigning she was going to do and not do.
Yeah.
I want to get your take on.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. And then here's a little piece on USAID that a lot of people didn't really know about.
We need to understand the real reason why USAID is in Africa. And not just USAID, but other NGOs. You look at DFID, which is the British equivalent, and many other smaller ones. Their sole purpose was to act as if they're coming to rescue Africa. They are coming in claiming that they're introducing grassroots initiatives that are going to help the people. And so they use that as a way to go into the most remote parts of Africa. When you look at it on paper, it all looks really good. But they're actually wolf in sheep's clothing. They are using that open access sounding humanitarian to constantly destabilize governments. I can tell you right now, the majority of African leaders, and not just African leaders, but leaders in the developing world, are celebrating the exit of USAID. If you think about it, their sole purpose, for example, filling in the gaps in healthcare and education, where is the change? Show me one country that USAID was in and education improved. Show me what country where USAID was in and healthcare improved. The social services they're bringing, it's peanuts. The American taxpayer needs to know the billions of dollars that are being given to USAID, a fraction is making it to the people.
This isn't just some random woman saying this. This is the African Union ambassador to the U.S. This is somebody who knows what's going on, who's been there and been on the ground. Now, she's saying that the USAID money was used for destabilizing governments. This is something we see over and over again. All the money that was supposed to be used for these programs was actually used for political meddling. This is something that happens in the United States all the time. One of the other things that she says here, right here, funds are allegedly diverted with little accountability. USAID was nothing but a giant money laundering operation. And check this out, reports of funds not reaching ground level, meaning all the money that's sent over there never goes to where it's supposed to go.
Yep, no different than Haiti, who got all that money. Yeah, just saying. All right, Rapid Response this morning put out the Donald Trump tweet. The terms that Iran leaked out to the fake news had nothing to do with the terms that were agreed to in writing. What they said, including their weak and pathetic statement on having a deal, bears no relation to the truth. Very dishonorable people to deal with. With them, there is no such thing as dealing in good faith. Amazing. Also, their totally rebuffed drone attack last night against Indian ships leaving the Hormuz Strait is totally unacceptable. They better get their act together and fast, President Donald J. Trump. Yep. And then batshit bonkers Britain.
Breaking news here in batshit bonkers Britain, where, in another boost for Keir Starmer's cabinet, John Healey, the defence minister, has resigned because there's no defence plan and no budget to back it. So for Keir Starmer now, he lost his corruption minister, Tulip Siddiqui, because it turned out that she was corrupt. He lost his homelessness minister because she made people homeless. He lost his housing minister because she had too many houses. His transport secretary, Heidi Alexander, disappeared down a pothole that she was responsible for fixing. And now he's lost his defence minister because there's no actual defence here in the UK. Everything going brilliantly for Keir Starmer. In other news, Liz Kendall says she's making changes to the Online Safety Act so that people that talk about the problem can face prosecution. People like me can be put in prison for talking about the problem. What they're not going to do is address the problem. So rather than address the fact that stabbing people over in this country or Ireland, beheading people and gouging out their eyes might be the problem, what the government plans to do is prosecute people like me who are pointing out the problem. Makes perfect sense to everybody, I'm sure. And then finally, Wegovy used to be an injection form. Now it's going to be in a tablet, so it'll be more accessible to more people. This is great news for the KFC bucket munchers because they'll be able to have their KFC bargain bucket, put a tablet in at the same time, and Bob's your uncle. You'll never get fatter, and I'm sure it's perfectly healthy for everybody to live that way. That's it, my darlings. Batshit bonkers Britain.
If I could do my podcast like she does her clips, that would be hilarious. It absolutely would be. LA Controller Kenneth I have no idea how to say his last name. Magia, I think it would be pronounced. I could probably said it wrong. Said he was supposed to audit the missing homeless dollars in California. What happened?
How the city of Los Angeles spent millions of dollars to avoid transparency and accountability by yours truly, Kenneth Mejia, your city controller. If you didn't know, the city of Los Angeles was sued over its homelessness efforts. And part of that case, the city had to undergo an audit. And instead of going with the independently elected city controller, who is the city's auditor, who actually would have done this for free, the city ended up spending nearly $3 million on an outside firm who is not an audit firm, to actually conduct this audit over homelessness spending and also homelessness efforts as well. And so when the results came back, the city actually disparaged the results. You know, they didn't call it a real audit. It was an assessment. And so here we are today. And the judge, instead of appointing a receivership over all of the city's homelessness efforts, decided that the city needs a monitor over its homelessness spending and efforts in real time. And so, wow, here's another opportunity for oversight. And the plaintiffs suing the city actually recommended our office, the current city controller's office, to be a monitor. But the city of LA rejected that. They said, nope, not you again. And so, you know, my audit team, we have decades of experience in technical expertise with data of homelessness subject matter experts. We created the city's homelessness dashboard. We're also independent. So I thought, wow, this would have been perfect because we're already doing the work. But nope, the city decided that they're going to pick the former city controller, my predecessor. And so I thought, wow, it's not that they don't want the city controller. They don't want this city controller, me, Kenneth Mejia, the independent elected city controller that you all wanted me to bring that transparency and accountability. But anyways, I'm here to make sure that we will continue to provide that independence and that oversight that you all want and voted for, okay? So we'll keep you all posted. Thank you.
Yeah. I like it. He's not just blowing a whistle, he's putting him in the spotlight. And that's exactly what needs to happen. And then here's a little bit more.
This is one of my biggest priorities. When I got in, we made the Homeless Fraud and Corruption Task Force. And we said we're going to look for every dollar because agencies like LAHSA, they're unable to account for it. They can't tell you where the money went. So within a matter of months, we found out a lot of money was stolen. We've charged almost $100 million in fraud. There's a guy, Mr. Sufer, which was covered on Fox News. He was supposed to be responsible for housing 300 homeless people. He used the money to buy a home in Westwood and a home in Greece and to vacation at the Four Seasons. People are stealing the money, and agencies like LAHSA are supposed to provide the oversight to make sure that doesn't happen. But everyone's making so much money off this, they don't care. The gravy train just keeps coming. You know, this is one of my biggest priorities. When I got in, we made the...
So $100 million lost from that. Senator Ron Johnson makes a very valid point here, and CNN isn't happy about it.
Senator Johnson, can we get you on the COVID cover-up? So why do you think legacy media such as CNN is not covering this?
Why aren't you covering this?
I want to ask you about Iran, the war in Iran.
You know, you really ought to cover the fact that Peter Marks knew on March 1st, 2021, that their algorithms were hiding safety signals. On 26 days later, found out 25 serious adverse events like sudden cardiac death, pulmonary infarction, Bell's palsy, different types of strokes, and they buried it. They hid it. It's a major scandal. It's even as big a scandal that the major media is completely ignoring the story. It's been out now for almost 6 weeks.
Can I say anyway, so Iran? I'm sure that was a question trying to ambush me. But I would ask you
me
about
ambush
Iran.
you.
So I ask you about Iran.
Do you think we could see people suing the U.S. government over this COVID cover-up?
It's hard to say. I mean, the government really does a good job of protecting itself and people that carry out its mission. So, the legal ramifications for what harm these government officials did by not informing the American public, not giving them the information they had the right and had deserved to hear. I'm not sure what that is. My job right now is to expose it. I appreciate Secretary Kennedy's commitment to radical transparency. That's why we know about this. We have a lot more documents, a lot more people to interview. So stay tuned. Again, biggest scandal of my lifetime because people weren't warned, they were mandated to take the shot, or they were coerced, or they're convinced without the kind of information they should have had for informed consent. And millions suffered adverse events. At least tens of thousands died after that March 1st date.
So it's estimated right now that the deaths of caused by this shot equal more than every war that the United States has been in since the War of 1812. So you can add World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, and Afghanistan. All of them. You can add them all together, and there are more deaths than all of those wars combined. Just saying. Yep. All right. Tommy Robinson put this one up.
Well, notorious Sydney gang rapist Mohammed Scaff has been charged with drug and other offences after he was arrested in Sydney's southwest overnight. Scaff and his brother Bilal were convicted for 6 gang rapes more than 2 decades ago. For more, we're joined by reporter Julia Andre, who is in Sydney. Julia, good morning to you. You were at
gang rapes. How long ago? 2 decades? Let's listen again.
With drug and other offences after he was arrested in Sydney's southwest overnight. Scaff and his brother Bilal were convicted for 6 gang rapes more than 2 decades ago. For more, we're joined by reporter Julia Andre, who is in Sydney. Julia, good morning to you. You were at that media conference today. You learnt more. What are those details?
Well, Catherine, police are alleging that Mohammed Scaff was the ringleader of this drug syndicate, which has been operating across southwest Sydney, which they've been monitoring since March. Now, Scaff was released from prison in 2021, but he's never expressed remorse or apologised for gang raping schoolgirls across Sydney with his brother Bilal Scaff. So yesterday, police searched the 42-year-old in Greenacre and they found $25,000 worth of cash on him. They also found 5 ounces of cocaine in a nearby park. Shortly afterwards, they executed a search warrant in Greenacre at a home there. And at that property, they found $220,000 worth of cash, 68 grams of cocaine, 10 grams of MDMA, as well as multiple phones. He was later charged with more than 20 drug offences, as well as directing activities of a criminal group.
Well, I can say we believe, and we're going to allege he's the principal of the whole investigation. He directed everybody. He directed the runners, which we like to call them, being the other 2, the other male and female, and operated all throughout southwest Met Sydney.
Now, Julia, there were 2 other people charged as part of the operation. What can you tell us about that?
There were, Catherine, shortly after Scaff was arrested and charged, police executed a search warrant in Bankstown. They arrested a 51-year-old man after they found steroids, a ballistic vest and a baton at that Bankstown property. They also arrested a 54-year-old woman in Newington after they found the illicit drugs ketamine and MDMA at that property in Newington. So all 3, we're just awaiting to see when they front the court, but all 3 were refused bail.
Julia Andre, thank you for the update.
Yep. Yeah, I saw a couple of things on the Midland shooting, but I didn't get an opportunity to really dig into it yet. So, Irish woman tells it like it is to military-age refugees from Afghanistan. Let's take a listen.
Afghanistan. And why is it only a man that has come and no families with you?
Because it's so difficult to bring a family with that way we are came here. So it's,
Well, you would, if you were fleeing a war, would you bring your family with you and whatever possessions you have?
with the women and children is so difficult.
Well, why would you flee war for your safety if your safety is in danger and you have your children there?
Sorry, I told you we didn't have a time. So
Did you like the hard questions?
From Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you bring your women and children if you were running away from war? If you were fleeing war, why wouldn't you bring your women and children? Just saying. All right. Now, this one's going to be pretty interesting for you. We talk about what's under the Denver airport, but what's next to the Denver airport? Next to the Denver airport are six data centers. What are those data centers for? What do they do? Are they associated to the airlines? Absolutely not. Take a listen.
All right, people, I found our $22 trillion. Take a look at this. Spooky. Every data center that allegedly needs fresh water doesn't need fresh water. They need water to supply the underground bases that you're seeing here. Take a look. Yep. Every single underground facility, if you go right above it, there's a data center.
So you got Iron Mountain in Pennsylvania, AWS data center in Virginia, Google, Kansas City, Missouri, Microsoft in Texas, Sanford Lab in South Dakota, the MOD in London, transatlantic, and the DND in Ottawa, Canada.
They're right in front of it. Guess what? The data center provides every single communication, everything you need for that underground facility. They can't hide it because that puts out waste. So look at this map right here, guys. All the data centers. And right below them, look at that. $22 trillion. I wonder who gets to live under here. No coincidence. All the data centers are needing fresh water, but they don't need fresh water to cool them. Any kind of water would work. $22 trillion. If this is taking you by guard and this is shocking you, guess what? Your taxpayer dollar is right here. $22 trillion underground. What you've got to ask yourself is why? Why? What's going on? What's happening? This is scary stuff, guys. Ask your Congress and senators why data centers need fresh water. They don't need fresh water. They need any kind of water if it's a true data center. But guess what? These aren't data centers. These are data centers and water supply units for all the underground $22 trillion worth of your tax-paying money. You'll never get to live in here. They're not even... You remember all that banging noise that people keep recording that they hear above ground? This is what's going on underground. Our taxpayer money. What the heck? You want to know why we're running out of water above ground? Because all of our above ground fresh water is being consumed by these data centers for the people that live underground. You heard me, underground, full scale cities. They need to flush their toilets and drink fresh water, and that's coming from above ground. That's right, guys. Scientists aren't disappearing, they're going underground.
Yeah, think about that statement. They're not disappearing, they're going underground. Okay, now I'm trying to find it, but there is a TV series that I believe just had its second TV series or second season. I'm trying to find it so that I can show you guys. Let me see. Bear with me for a minute here, guys. Bear with me. Nope, it's not that one. I'm trying to find it because it really kind of gives you an idea of exactly what is going on. And somebody probably typed it in chat and I don't see it because I'm looking it up. No, it's not Logan's Run, but Logan's Run is a very good example of what would happen if if people did get put in there like that. But they're dang nabbit. What is the Paradise? Thank you. Okay, so let me pull this up real quick. Let's go to IMDb. Okay, and well, nope, that's not where I wanted to go. No, that's not it. That's not. Go back. Okay. There we go. Okay, so it came out in 2025. Okay, that's why I said it's in its second season now. Okay.
6 months ago, our lives changed forever.
We don't have much time. Go.
All major communication with the surface was lost. The world outside is no longer survivable.
After everything that's happened, could my wife have survived? Could somebody be okay up there?
This is Terry Rogers Collins. I'm looking for my husband, Xavier.
I'm coming, baby. I spent the last 3 years in an underground bunker.
Wow, so it's real.
Yeah, it's real.
What's it like?
It's like before, only creepier. The longer we were down there, the more the seams began to show.
This bunker, there's something that nobody knows about. Something dangerous.
Let's go get my wife.
Out here, the little things will kill you.
Are you compromising the safety of this bunker for your own personal gain? We have bigger problems.
We're coming in. And we will end this. I promise you, people are built to survive. They are resilient.
I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect what I've built.
I came a long way to find my wife. So where the hell is she?
I have a plan for all of us. It's never just about the bunker.
Okay.
Mr. President.
Agent Collins, come on in.
Yeah. So it basically it goes through this guy. All the scenes before they had to go into the bunker and so on and so forth. And yeah, it's if you watch the ending, if you really pay attention to the end of the second season, you see what direction it's going to go, because what direction are they sending them? Yeah. Let's see. And that's a true statement right there. That is. I don't know nothing. Don't know what to believe. So I'm like Hawk. We don't know nothing. You can't question us because we don't know nothing. Yeah, just saying. It's the way things kind of go, All right. And then here is Secretary Mullins.
Got these two court clerks. It used to be an honor to be a clerk for the court.
Remember I talked about these two clerks yesterday?
But they're accused of taking these migrants out the back door.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in this case in Utah?
Well, we're going to charge those. If you're harboring and abetting a criminal, we have zero tolerance for you. Zero. You don't get to pick and choose which laws you're going to enforce, just like we don't pick and choose which laws we're going to enforce. And when you're doing this, when you're harboring and abetting a criminal, when you're violently assaulting one of our buildings, vehicles, or personnel, you're verbally assaulting, we have taken a zero tolerance approach. We will arrest you and we will prosecute you to the fullest extent of the law. People need to understand that President Trump wasn't just making a campaign speech when he says he's going to restore law and order to our streets and make our streets safe again. We have the enforcement arm in DHS. We have the officers that are willing and wanting to do their job, but our biggest hindrance are these left Democrat politicians that are for defunding the police, and that's got to stop.
Yeah. There you go. So he's going to go after them two ladies that decided that they were going to help somebody. Yep. All right. Then Greg Gutfeld.
She says she doesn't know what it's like. We don't know. We don't know what it's like to be a black woman, and that's true. But she doesn't know what it's like to be a white man like me. I can't afford to be as stupid as she is. Like, I have to try harder because I'm going to be called all sorts of names, but she can say whatever she wants. I think she said, like, what if it were a white teen who stabbed a black kid? Oh, it would be different. She's right. There would be riots, there would be looting, there would be murals, there would be marches, there would be corporate virtue signaling, quiet moments in the quad, politicians weeping, celebrity videos. I am Carmelo Anthony. We would kneel. Nancy Pelosi would wear a scarf. If this were in reverse, they would George Floyd the crap out of it. Fact is, we have an incredibly low bar for black leftist commentary. If any white person said that stuff about the murder of a black kid, it would be the apocalypse. But on the left, every heartless bozo gets a hall pass. The weird thing about it is we're in a situation where you can like talk about justifiable homicide when you're dealing with whiteness. And it's because we have created a filter of historical oppression. That like you could be innocent, but you represent something. So I look at you as a totem, I guess, for all the guilt. And because our society is evil and racist and bigoted, the stakes are life and death. So when I'm confronted with a white person, I can stab you. That is what she is saying. She's not saying like, oh, he's innocent. She's not saying he's innocent and he's guilty. She's saying it's okay.
Justified.
It's justified. And this is when you are seeing behavior, and maybe it's my algorithm, but you see a lot of fights where there are people who do not know how to manage their emotions when it comes to conflict. And they go right to the punch or right to the stab.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Because they don't know how to debate properly. They don't know how to have a conversation. However, there are some people who just need to have the shit knocked out of them, you know. But 87-year-old neighbor just dropped potato wisdom that saved me $200 a year.
You gotta put a baking soda and put them on a box on a dark.
For why? What
Because
reason?
this way they don't get to sprout.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long have they been there?
It's 3 months.
3 months with the baking soda?
Yeah.
Baking soda.
Yeah, when you take it out, you wash, peel, the bread fresh.
Why didn't you tell me?
Yep. Just saying.
You gotta put a baking soda.
Put baking soda on your potatoes. She brushes it on, puts them all in the box, and washes them off when she pulls one out. But it stops the potatoes from rotting. You know, just saying, there's something to it. Lawsuit time. Attorney Thelma Anderson called the Metcalf brothers domestic racist terrorists. Someone please get this to the Metcalf family so they can sue the fake eyelashes off her trifling ass. And the reason that I'm going to say this is, all right, this is a Dallas, Texas attorney named Thelma Anderson. The bar is very low these days. Let's start with this video and then we'll hit the other one.
For people to do at this moment is pray for the Anthony family because they have been legally lynched for the last year. And more so by this slaughterhouse of a courthouse, as well as the family of the Metcalfs. So the energy right now is very white supremacy. They have shown up to be the pigs that they display with hate. They are celebrating the loss of life and the loss of freedom. So that's the energy. We have a devastated family who didn't know that they was going to have to let their son go back into a holdover because we have an overzealous prosecutor who lied throughout this trial, who put on.
But this is the same Thelma Anderson who was pled guilty to a federal conviction for wire fraud. So she's a thief. You know, on top of it, you know.
Twins are domestic racist terrorists. Those twins, that's what they were. Those twins are domestic racist terrorists.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have a feeling she'll be in court again real soon. Unfortunately, as a plaintiff, or as a defendant, not as a plaintiff, you know, or a lawyer. She's gonna need a real lawyer to protect her ass from going to prison herself, or from being sued into oblivion. You know, so yeah, just saying. All right. Hunter Biden just declared war on the Democratic establishment. What's this?
Primary season's picking up, and Democrats just found their dream ticket.
I'm joined today by presidential candidate Hunter Biden.
They gave me a stage. I'm going to use it. I got a lot to say.
D-pads in the tweaker 2028. Please let it be so. Hunter fantasizes about a lot of things, trust me. But one thing he wants badly, to stick it to the Democrats who cooed his daddy. He could pull off the greatest comeback since the Knicks. Settle scores in D.C., burn it all down. And with Newsom by his side, well.
There is this very powerful group of people, and they all go to the same dinner parties, and they are all part of the same financial ecosystem that continues to fill their pockets in the Democratic Party, which I think is the one thing that makes it very, very, very difficult for the Democratic Party to ever actually achieve the real systemic change that we need in order to rehabilitate that brand. We need a new deal. You know, we need somebody to come and break it.
Hunter's red hot. He spent years off the political grid, like he was in the witness protection program. But now that he's got a pardon in his pocket and Pops is out of office, he's moving his mouth like a machine gun. He's owning the family's biggest skeleton, Sleepy's brain.
It wasn't like it was a surprise that they elected someone who was 78 years old. It was not like a surprise that people, as they get old, particularly, at that age, they literally lose a step. Like my dad lost a step. That does not mean per se that there is a cognitive decline. But instead of embracing it, I think that they tried to kind of obfuscate it. And the one thing Dad could never afford, in my opinion, was to not always embrace his greatest strength, which was his authenticity.
Confession. I'm captivated. Hunter's interesting. He's got something to say. It's fresh. Because he doesn't give up. Unlike most of these tentative Democrats that pussyfoot around the truth, he's got Trump energy. And remember, Trump ravaged both parties, Republicans and Democrats. Hunter's embracing that same kind of blind violence. It's just what America needs.
Is he more qualified than me? I went to Yale Law School. I was a vice president of a major bank. I worked in the Clinton administration. I started my own business. I started my own law firm. I worked for Boyce, Schiller, Flexner. I taught at Georgetown University in the master's program of the School of Foreign Service. I was the chairman of the board of World Food Program, U.S. I was a vice chairman of Amtrak. I served on 14 boards. And Jared Kushner did what?
Oh, why do you need to throw Jared Kushner in there? The only thing that I need to see, Hunter, is your laptop. That's all I needed to see. We've seen your laptop. Marco Polo released a book covering everything from your laptop. And you think that you're going to get elected as president? Yeah, that's all we need is a crackhead in the White House. Full time. Yeah. making decisions for our country. The first time something goes awry, oh, I need to go get a hit. You know, it's a lot different than me sitting down to smoke a joint to calmly think about a situation. Big difference between smoking a joint and smoking some crack. Just saying. Maricopa County judge has ordered the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors to appear at a hearing to show cause why they should not be judged in civil contempt or willful continuing and escalating noncompliance with the court's election integrity order. This is going to be a big thing. Arizona is going to be the battleground for that's the California and Arizona, Georgia, and Pennsylvania will be the key, and possibly Michigan. We might be able to add Michigan to it. Are going to be the key focal points as to military is the only way. So we're being shown all this stuff. So being shown all this stuff, you know, guys like this decide that they want to put out their opinions. And Rob V, I like this.
Let me tell you sorry-ass individuals a little bit of something about these white folks and this guy who's yelling and screaming Donald Trump. They don't need Donald Trump. He's grandstanding. Because they see you punch old white people in the face. They see you snatching old white people's purses or sitting in electronic chair. They see you pushing old white women on the ground. They see you walking up in restaurants, creating havoc and chaos and punching someone in the face because they got the soda order wrong. They see you walking in these places, spitting on people. They see you spitting on women who are pushing their carriage. They see you assaulting veterans, old people, getting up in people's faces and grieving and beefing. They see it. They hear it. So now they're tired of it. So when they come after your ass, you can bet it, dollars to dimes, they're not going to be playing, man. Because they don't hold the gun sideways. They don't run out of slippers that they ain't wearing. They don't run up on somebody and get their ass whooped. That doesn't happen with them. They know how to use these weapons. They know what they're doing. So when they come after you, you're not going to be ready for their smoke. So don't act like you will be. Because half of you couldn't hit a bull in the ass with a shovel up close. Well, this is what they do. They have arsenals. And they go shoot. They go hunt. They're not playing games if they come after you. And because you bootlicked us, you Uncle Tom'd us, and all cooned us, and all the rest of it, if you were dying in the desert of thirst because you ran from them, I wouldn't throw a cup of piss in it. I would not help you, man. I wouldn't give you a Band-Aid or throw Mercurochrome or anything else. You're on your own. Good luck.
And it's like, you can't argue with what he's saying. Black fatigue is real. Yeah. So U.S. Department of Justice files a complaint challenging Virginia mask ban and identification requirements for federal officers. They're going all out with this, as we reported earlier. And then President Trump demands the House expel Jamie Raskin. Yes, send the traitor packing. If Biden didn't give him a pardon, he'd be in jail right now. Something should be done about people like this who do bad things, but always come up on the short end because of their illegal and unscrupulous behavior and hurt our country in the process. I agree with Mark Levine when he says to expel the bum. Congress can never be great with people like this who suffer massively from TDS, casting their vote of hate. Jamie Raskin, a loser in life who worked endlessly during my first term to impeach me and failed miserably, wasting the country's money, time, and effort, will guaranteed be trying to do it again, despite one of the most successful presidencies in history. He spent time on the unselect committee of political hacks and thugs and was rebuffed on that, just as he has been rebuffed on impeachment and many other things. Yeah, and I'm not even going to play him because I can't stand to hear his voice. And if I ever saw him face to face, I'd probably, I never mind. Yeah. So, moving on. This is from yesterday.
To this third reconciliation bill.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on why the election integrity matters so much for national security from your perspective?
Well, we need it for our elections. We need to have voter identification, which you don't have right now on a national basis. We need it for, and the voter ID is very important. We need it for proof of citizenship. Do you believe it? The Democrats are fighting. They don't want you to prove your citizenship when you vote. You know why they want that? Because they cheat. We also want it with mail-in voting, where you have people that are sent 7, 8 ballots, 2 ballots, 4 ballots, and a lot of them sign those ballots. Mail-in voting, and we want to be very judicious. If you're in the military and you're far away, or if you're handicapped, or if you're sick, or if you're on vacation, that you have but you're not going to. Millions and millions. Look at California. They send out millions of ballots, tens of millions. They have no idea what's going on. Those elections are so corrupt. So we have a mail-in ballot. Then we have no men, and we had 2 more. No men in women's sports. You're talking about saving America, right? No men in women's sports. Another one, very popular. I think it's 99-1. They say it's 80-20. I think it's 99-1. And we have no mutilization of your children for transgender purposes. So let's see, transgender mutilization of your children. Does that sound good with you guys, generally speaking? You're not into transgender mutilization of
Not
your
at
child?
all. Not at all, sir.
Where your child leaves your house and they take your child from you. In some cases, think of it, in 6 states, they take the child and do what they want to do. What they do is I don't even want to talk about it. Of your children.
Yeah. So, and the people that were standing behind him at that time were there for the signing of the reopening of fishing areas that have been inaccessible for almost 20 years in the United States. Some of our most impressive fishing grounds that have not been able to be fished, especially Alaska, up in the Bering Sea areas. There's a whole bunch that have been regulated out of it, and other countries are coming in, scooping up all our fish, taking them back to their countries, and then selling them to the United States for twice the cost of what it would cost to have our great fishermen from Alaska, Seattle. There's quite a few big fishing areas. Portland has some teams that go out, but for the Pacific fishing area, but it's also the same thing on the East Coast. And during his first administration, Trump opened up a particular harvesting area for lobsters that had been cut off from the Maine and Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and I believe it was Rhode Island and Connecticut. An area that was out there. It was, probably 20 miles wide and about 600 miles of water, an entire channel that nobody could fish in. But the thing is that when they were fishing in those, they had the highest supplies of the largest and most abundant whether it was lobster or the particular types of crabs that are over there. That was their biggest harvest area, and they were fishing mainly in that area. And then and then the government said you can't do that anymore, and they made them go to these other areas, which basically tripled and quadrupled the price of seafood, because of it. So yeah, there's that. And this is the U.S. Energy Undersecretary.
Venezuela, right? 300 billion barrels. That's 6 times more proven reserves than the United States. So 6 times more reserves. They're producing 1/10 the production. There's tremendous opportunity, to Mike's point, in the Western Hemisphere. We can control our own destiny. And Alaska, we've seen record lease sales. It's one of the few places in the world that has world-class resource in the ground with a pipeline that has 1.5 million barrels per day of spare capacity with an 8-day shipping route to Japan. We are going to see the Western Hemisphere build its oil production capabilities. We're going to see it shift back. We've already seen it start shifting back to the Western Hemisphere. And to Mike's point, we've got tremendous resource through South America, through the United States. A term that Secretary Rubio made a few weeks ago when he was filling in at the White House briefing was, we're a nation of perpetual improvement. And I think it describes our industry perfectly. Right? We've seen it over and over again. Low recovery rates, we try something else, water floods or enhanced oil recovery, and we increase the recovery. And we're entering that age for shale. Right? The shale that we've talked about that transformed not only domestic energy markets, but global energy markets, is only recovering 10% of the oil in place. We have 90% of the oil in the ground that our horizontal wells drill through and hydraulically stimulate. 90% is still in the ground. There's no way that our industry is going to give up with 90% in the ground. So imagine doubling that from 10% to 20% recovery rate. Still leaving 80% in the ground, but we would repeat the shale revolution. So there's going to be a perpetual improvement opportunity in the existing oil and gas industry to continue to provide the energy that the world needs.
Yep. So it's just another way for the economy to be built up, going away from the petrodollar to actually give value to our oil and gas production. So U.S. Secret Service, the U.S. Secret Service led a coordinated international operation that arrested 2 individuals for operating a cryptocurrency money laundering service responsible for more than $389 million in unlawful transactions. The operation, conducted alongside the IRS and law enforcement partners across 11 countries, resulted in seizures of cryptocurrency assets and the takedown of the Audi A6 computer infrastructure. That's where about a third of our scammers come from. Yeah. All right. And then Hustle Bitch put this one up. And that's really her name. It says Hustle Bitch. Okay. His name. It doesn't necessarily make sense, but a twat waffle is a twat waffle, and we just can't do anything about that. But makes very valid points on a regular basis. Hundreds of people claim voices are being beamed into their heads. This wasn't some obscure internet forum. This was a mainstream television news report. The people interviewed claimed they were hearing voices that nobody else could hear. They believed the voices were being transmitted directly into their minds. They claimed their thoughts were being monitored, tracked, and manipulated. The report aired 13 years ago. Most people dismissed it immediately. But here's what makes the story so strange. A local news station thought the claims were serious enough to investigate. Support groups existed, billboards were purchased, hundreds of people reported similar experiences. A Freedom House was even opened for people who believed they were being targeted. The official explanation was mental illness, yet more than a decade later, this report is still circulating online and raising the same uncomfortable questions. If even 1% of these people, if even 1% of what these people were saying was true, What else have we been told to ignore? Let's take a listen to this news report.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads. And those voices are being transmitted by microwave or other methods.
Well, several viewers asked us to investigate what they call electronic harassment. KMIR 6's Angela Monroe joins us now with what she's discovered. Angela.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of web
13 years ago. Voice to skull. What have we been talking about for the last 6-7 years where it came to voice to skull, especially immediately after COVID and learning about the RNA, right? And what was in the Jabberwocky, right? If people were hearing things, seeing things, and then dropping dead.
websites dedicated to the phenomenon, and several Valley residents who say they're victims.
How much more can you invade me than to go into my brain? It sounds like somebody else is reading the book, only it's thoughts.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
These men all live in the area, didn't know each other before the voices started, and say someone is playing mind games with them.
Mostly it's a lot of derogatory comments about whatever you're thinking about.
Only time I ever had a whole sentence, he said, "This is not about you," which just frosted me. If it's not about me, what the hell am I going through all this for?
Kevin Bond says he used to have a normal life.
I was living in the San Diego area. I was clerking for a federal judge, and I noticed that I was being followed by a whole bunch of people.
According to the websites, what Bond is describing is called gang stalking. He moved to Palm Springs to escape.
I started hearing, as you'll hear, hearing voices and what they'll call voice to skull or microwave hearing.
Bob Stansfield says his experience was similar and started a decade ago.
They were active and following me around here. And I started hearing the voices a little bit after the vehicular stalking.
Randall Ringer says the voices started when he was undergoing chemotherapy.
The first thing that was said was Randall Ringer. And I sat up straight and I went into the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, looked myself in the eyes, and I said, did that really happen?
Bond says he's found more than 300 victims locally and is tracking others across the state through billboards. In Johnson Valley, a Freedom House just opened to help people who believe they are being targeted.
To many of you who find yourselves the object of covert harassment, that there is hope and that you are not alone, and that we are striving to find legislation and we're working towards freedom for all.
Jarek Robinson leads a national group called Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. He says he knows who's playing mind games.
Rogue government officials that are sponsoring this, also corrupt business officials, and private citizens.
And he also told us how.
Most of it is delivered by microwave, and I believe it's satellite delivered, whether someone is on a remote location using a laptop or next door using the desktop.
Bond says neurotransmitter chips that run off body electricity have been inserted into some people.
And they assign cell phone numbers to them. The cell phone numbers are then run through a computer, and a computer translates your thoughts. This crime has been available to the military for 60 years.
We sat down with local psychiatrist Dr. Alan Drucker to get his professional opinion.
There's no scientific evidence and there's no objective evidence to show that what they believe to be happening is factually true.
So what does the doctor believe is behind these voices?
Information that I found on many of these websites really confirms or is consistent with what I see in delusional disorders.
But these men disagree.
I've been to a psychiatrist and they gave me anti-schizophrenia medication and it did absolutely nothing whatsoever.
However, Dr. Drucker says delusional disorder has no real medical treatment and is believed to start because of disrupted dopamine pathways in the brain.
These pathways then start to fire or get triggered in the absence of actual stimulation of a person actually speaking or the radio being on, etc.
Dr. Drucker says dopamine can be disrupted for a variety of reasons: a genetic predisposition, illicit drugs, and even chemotherapy. These men have their own theories why they're being harassed.
I think that I was targeted because I'm gay.
I reported someone for selling what I thought they were selling drugs, and they were.
Nationwide, this crime is committed about 60% against white women ages from 30 to 38. But in Palm Springs, it's almost 98% gay men.
It does tend to occur more in populations of individuals who are marginalized or in some way stigmatized in society.
But these men disagree and say police and the psychiatric community need to take them seriously.
When I worked with the government, I heard a lot of people coming in saying, I'm hearing voices through my tooth. Now I look back and I think, are they like I am now and I just didn't pay attention?
For them, the voices are a waking nightmare. And Kevin Bond told me they're working on a book project about electronic harassment and pitching the idea to DreamWorks.
Yeah, interesting, huh? So, what direction is this going to take us? What are we going to learn about it? What are we going to find out about this voice to skull? Because I think that part of this DNI switchover with Tulsi Gabbard to Bill Pulte, I think that's going to end up being part of it. I really do. It's just there's just a lot of, and then Trump had this to say during yesterday's press conference as well.
Here in Washington, D.C., there's a Democratic primary for mayor. One of the two leading candidates, Janice Lewis-George, is running a Zoran Mandami campaign. It's focused on socialist policies. How would you feel if she emerges victorious in next Tuesday's?
Well, I wouldn't like it, and maybe we'd take back Washington, run it on the federal basis. We won't put up with it. We're not going to lose our businesses.
Here in Washington, D.C.
It's not a state. So putting it back under federal would absolutely eliminate the city structure for DC and put it into the hands of the management. Yeah. So Carly Bonet says the numbers 8647 used by left-wing activists referred to assassinating Trump were burnt into the lawn by a deranged vandal. The administration told the Daily Mail the U.S. Park Police and National Guard troops were spotted on Thursday investigating the markings near the World War II memorial at the western end of the mall. And basically you can see the outline of the numbers. 8647 is right there. And here's another one from an overhead. Just saying there's a whole lot to this. All right. See.
People took to the streets in a way that we haven't seen before. People left their homes, they left their families, they left their livelihoods to stand up for themselves and for their communities, demanding a better Ireland. And how dare ye ignore the people again here today? You talk about Sinn Féin, but you don't talk about the people. It was the people that went out and said enough is enough. It was the people who had to take to the streets to demand action. And it was the people who said they have no confidence in yous. But not one of you here spoke to the people here today. Instead, you spoke to and about yourselves. When I thought about your disastrous response last week, I thought it couldn't get any worse. But the fact that you locked Galway representatives out of a meeting is absolutely shameful. Do you even realise how disrespectful that was? Do you understand the blind arrogance that you showed? It was like something out of a schoolyard. You were saying, well, I'll talk to those, but I won't talk to them. And having spent time on these protests in Galway, I had perhaps thought that maybe a sense of clarity would have descended on this Dáil, a sense of clarity that the people had. But obviously this hasn't happened. Ye have doubled down. Ye have spent your time during this debate debate with your chests out and beating the same old drum of how great ye are, but the people are wise to ye. They know exactly what ye are at. They heard the words of the Taoiseach, the Taoiseach and the Minister for Justice last week. But I tell you now, the people know whose side you're on, and they know that you are not on their side.
Okay, so I want to make a point that that this was that video is from the 14th of April of 2026. Okay, and you know, it's and this one here being reported as being Ireland. That wasn't Ireland. You know, that there was from a Russian explosion. So you got to be careful who you follow. But the ICA has been making statements that has been coming out. You know, and you know, and then the police started using water cannons on the protesters. You know, but the fact of the matter is this was brought to their attention in April, how far, you know, the government has gone and how much they've turned their back on their people and are just bringing in a whole new group of people that they're going to siphon off of, no different than what they've done to the Irish all these years anyways. So, you know, Zach Zenson and his father, both Americans from Utah, have just been detained by the DEA in Brownsville, Texas. They're being charged with Hokokio Fiscal. The network continues to operate, and this pair of scoundrels will have to confess the partnerships they have with the Mexican narco politicians. This is going to be interesting to see. Yeah. Yeah. Father and son off to jail together, and yeah, because you know, going, you know, just saying. All right, and then we got this here.
I don't want them in my country anymore.
What's the general mood in the city?
It's very eerie. It's like a ticking time bomb. It's like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off.
Do you think this is going to last, or is it going to?
Yeah, I think it is going to last. Yeah, I hope it lasts. I hope it does. We don't give up this time. Stormont or over in Westminster do not represent us. They don't listen to us. He was living in assisted living where our elderly should be. So why are they getting housed over? We have our homeless in the towns in Belfast City Centre. Government aren't looking after them, so they're not looking after us. Our children's school places are being taken away. We can't get hospital appointments. I know that. My daughter waited 10 years on a hospital appointment to be diagnosed. So like, I never would have thought I would ever say that I don't want them in my country. I don't want them in my country anymore. My country's been through enough. We have murdered each other for years. We're trying to come together, and I think this is what's going to unite us. I hope it's going to unite both sides and bring us all together. Peaceful, that's all we want. We've been through our troubles and we're getting bossed in more. They have no loyalty to us, and when crunch comes to crunch, they're going to side with their own countries, and we have to stick together and side with each other here in Ireland. It has to be.
Yeah. So it's from Europa.com. You know, they do a lot of good coverage over there. They've been on the ground talking with people, doing different kinds of interviews, which has been great. All right. Trump just nominated the current United States Attorney for the Southern District of New York as our next Director of National Intelligence. Let that sink in. This is the same SDNY that has been at the center of everything. The Wiener laptop, the Clinton Foundation, Epstein Island, Epstein himself, Ukraine, and more. Q highlighted 9 separate times as critical. Here's the drop that hits different now. Okay, so this was posted 6/20/2020. Okay, Southern District of New York. Importance of Southern District of New York control. Jurisdiction. Wiener evidence collection. Clinton Foundation. Epstein evidence collection. Ukraine. Focus on above. And in kill bracket says, for now, watch New York City. Well, we've been watching. We're seeing what's going on. Okay. Then the guard refusing to step down. POTUS refusal to formally nominate. Appointed to post by Southern District of New York judges. Unusual. Removal of acting and made full secretaryship or whatever you call it. All right. The stakes are high. They will fight Super Bowl puppy show. Saying there might be something to it. And then Vance Bolter pleads guilty to murdering Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. Vance alleged in his manifesto that Tim Walz ordered him to kill the Democrat lawmakers. Yep. So, and then here we go. Actually,
this action, 500,000 square miles were closed to American fishermen. You couldn't go and fish 500,000 square miles. I mean, just think of how big that is. And if you had an American flag, you weren't allowed there. But of course, everybody else went. So they went in our waters. These are our waters. And so what did that result in? That resulted in us, instead of having seafood exports, because we have great fishing opportunity, we were an importer. We became an importer of seafood. How crazy is that? So the president is finally changing that. This is a massive win for our fishermen, massive win for our waterfront communities who process it, all these processors. And in the end, we are going to eat fish caught by us. What a shock. Eating fish caught by us in our waters. So this is just common sense, smart. We already have the best conservation rules in the world, and this was one on top of another on top of another. So thank God from the fisherman's perspective, and I get these calls all the time, that President Donald Trump is in this office because he's finally letting.
I want to bring that back. I want to bring this back to right here.
Already have the best conservation rules in the world, and this was one on top of another on top of
one on top of another for Americans, but not for other countries. So we got all these people protesting and passing out petitions to stop people from doing things in the waters that belong to this country, so that the nation that they're getting paid by in order to do that protest can come in and take over that fishery area. Backdoor deals. Backdoor deals. They could have just gone to a local gay bar if they wanted a backdoor deal, right? I'm just saying.
Another. So thank God from the fisherman's perspective, and I get these calls all the time, that President Donald Trump is in this office because he's finally letting our great fishermen and fisherwomen get out there and catch fish and stop importing fish. Let's eat fish caught by Americans. Thank you.
And Sid Hansen happens to be in that mix of fishermen there. If any of you have ever watched The Deadliest Catch, I thought I saved a clip of that. Maybe I didn't. Here we go.
Today's another example of you bringing these everyday Americans into the White House and listening to them. Yeah. How important is it for you to listen to everyday Americans when it comes to policy making on a
These people
basis?
built the country, not the complainers. The complainers didn't build the country. These people built the country. whether it's fishermen or farmers or anything else. Guys like me, they built the country. I watch all these ingrates. They're always complaining. They didn't build anything. They couldn't build anything. Look at what's happened in Minnesota, Somalia. All these people came in from Somalia. They ripped off our system. You have the woman who married her brother. She came in and married her brother. Isn't that wonderful? And she talks about the Constitution of the United States. She comes from Somalia. They don't have constitutions in Somalia. They don't have police. They don't have it. All they have is people that run around shooting each other. And then she comes and tells us how to run our country. I don't like it. These people don't like it. I can tell you. I think I can speak for you.
Yeah.
She comes in, Ilhan Omar. She comes in. She tells us how to run the United States of America. And she comes from a place without anything, probably among the worst countries in the world. And she says, the Constitution of the United States protects me. She shouldn't be protected. If she honestly, she should be thrown out of the country. She's corrupt. And most of the people that came in are corrupt. And the whole voting system is corrupt in Minnesota. I won Minnesota 3 times, easily. I won almost every county, but they didn't give it to me. It's a corrupt system, very corrupt state. The governor is terrible. The attorney general is terrible. They're all very corrupt people.
Yeah. So that press meeting yesterday was pretty interesting when he signed the bill to remove all the regulations and stop people from being able to do, let's see, is it here? Because I'm at the end of my list of stuff to play for you guys. Does this have any additional clips? I'm not seeing it. Dang nabbit. I thought I grabbed it too. Just because of the fact that I'm a Deadliest Catch fan as well. So I love watching them guys work. I think it's extraordinary, to have the skills to work out on that water and do the job that they do. And look after each other to make sure that nobody is being harmed. And they care about the fisheries. They really, really care about the fisheries. And I love that. I love that a lot, so let's go here. Seeing that
Russia has a history also of inventing outright lies like this, which is the suggestion that the United States has a chemical and biological weapons program, or Ukraine does, that they're operating. Russia is the country that has a chemical and biological weapons program. So the objective was to make clear the inaccuracy of the information, the misinformation they're trying to put out, and make clear to the world that they not only have the capacity, they have a history of using chemical and biological weapons, and that in this moment, we should have our eyes open for that possibility.
Today, I'm releasing new evidence of longstanding U.S. government funding of more than 120 biolabs in over 30 countries. Now, these biolabs include labs in places like Ukraine, which could be at risk of compromise due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war. In fact, the intelligence community had previously warned that a U.S.-funded biolab in Ukraine likely housed dangerous pathogens, as the information surrounding the existence, history, locations, and funding of these U.S.-funded biolabs has been intentionally covered up by very powerful people who falsely claimed that these biolabs didn't exist. Now, they accuse anyone who says otherwise to be foreign assets and traitors to America.
Yeah. Well, the traitor is right there on the left. Yeah. Right there on the left. So let's see. This just came out a couple hours ago. Donald Trump, regilding of the massive Arts of War sculptures located between the Lincoln Memorial and the site of the Trumpial Arc rapidly continues. The sculptures will be fully regilded by July 3rd. The photos below were taken yesterday. The Gilders studio has flown in Gilders from around the country to perform this work. It's pretty interesting. Let's see. Let's open the image in a new tab so we can go like this. And basically what they're doing is, wow, look at that. Great work, ladies. Great work. Yeah. The Art of War. Yep. So, everything's going to be painted gold and washed in before it's all done. Yeah. All right. And then let's hit this morning or late morning update from Katie Hopkins.
I wanted to send a quick message to the little 12-year-old girl in Scotland and her friends and her mum and her family, just to say so well done to you for sticking up for your sister and for your friends and for being brave and bold and brandishing your weapons to tell those people to get away from you. Essentially, this 12-year-old girl and her friends in Scotland were being pestered by a Bulgarian guy saying, oh, I can show you girls a sexy time. And then this Bulgarian monster got his sister who came and shoved one of our girls and she banged her head and all sorts of things. But then the Bulgarians claimed that the girls had approached them and were making racist comments about them. None of that happened. But of course, Police Scotland believed the Bulgarians. Police Scotland piled on in. They said that the girls would be arrested, that they would be reported to the relevant authorities to be dealt with, when those little Scottish girls were in the right all along. And it gets worse, because over in social media commentary land, the normal idiots piled on in. Like, for example, Narinder Kaur. She owes a massive apology to those little girls who stood up for themselves, that were right all along and told the truth all along. And Freddie Sayer, the guy that's the Billy Big Bollocks that runs Unheard and publishes The Spectator and says, oh yes, my father was a QC with a very investigative mind, which is why I've got this brilliant investigative mind that I've got. No, Freddie, you were a posho prick who joined the pylon, who called all of us morons for backing the little girl and didn't believe the little girl's story. You owe her a proper apology. You owe her a sorry for being a massive thunder cunt. That's the sort of stuff that you should be saying round about now. That's not the point. The point is, to that little girl, the 12-year-old Scottish girl, you should be on the plinth in Trafalgar Square if I had my way. To her friends, good girls for standing up for each other and looking after each other. All girls need to be doing more of that. And to the mum of those little girls, you should be very proud indeed. You said they were telling the truth all along. They were telling the truth all along. Police Scotland owe you a very great deal, including an apology. And I'm just here cheering you all on.
There you go. And that's how we'll end it for today. Yeah. Because that was good. That was good. That was really good. Where am I? There I am. All right. So I'll be back with you guys again tomorrow. I hope. I've got to get on the phone and I've got to see if I can get water out here. I'm getting ready to call this guy from the water wagon and find out what it'll cost to come out and have him fill up a few of these totes for me. It's going to be interesting. They can do like 3,000 gallons of potable water delivered by the truckload. So yeah. I'm going to see what they charge and see if I can get some water out here because I got to get it for the dogs. So, all right, I will see you guys again tomorrow. Again, I'm not sure what time tomorrow, but I will be on sometime after 11 o'clock. Before that is a little bit tougher because I've got everything to do with the kennels and stuff. So. Remember, God loves you. Jesus loves you. I love you. Don't get TDS. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't get TDS. Just keep pushing along. In the meantime, keep your
up this morning to a world on fire. Everybody shouting, climbing walls of wire. Fear on the TV, lies across the screen. Hard to know these days what anything means. But I hear my Father's voice down in my soul. Stand up straight, don't let the darkness take control. Love your neighbor, hold the line, stay alive. Open up your eyes and let your spirit drive. Don't let the noise pull you under. Don't lose your heart in the thunder. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Little old lady waving from a porch swing. Kids on the sidewalk still learning to dream. Somebody praying in the middle of pain. Somebody dancing in the pouring rain. There's still good people helping strangers stand. Still working hard with calloused hands. Still holding family, still holding faith. Still finding hope when it all feels late. Don't let the fear define you. There's still a fire inside you. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your eyes on the light. There's still love in the middle of the fight tonight. When the road gets narrow and the world feels cold, keep your heart wide open and never let go. Keep your head on a swivel, but your soul on the rise. There's a whole lot of beauty still left in these eyes. Yeah, the world may shake, but we're not gonna break. We were born for more than survival. Oh, don't forget who you are. You were made from the dust and the stars. Oh, even when shadows fall, love is still the strongest thing of all. Keep your head on a swivel, don't lose your grace. Every scar tells a story, every soul has a place. And if somebody stumbles, you help them stand tall. That's the kind of strength that can heal us all. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your faith alive. There's still hope for tomorrow as long as we try. Yeah, the world may change, but love remains, and that's how we survive. Keep your head